learners. Welcome to another fun and exciting adventure together. Welcome to our ESP class. This is Mom Chacha reminding you to think wisely, create smartly, and share information responsibly. For today's episode, we will talk about designing course materials. At the end of this episode, here's what I've expected you, class. Identify the three main types of course design, discuss the importance of designing course materials, and explain the importance of needs analysis in designing course materials. Last meeting, we discussed about the needs analysis. Who can still recall what is needs analysis? What are the two types of needs analysis? Since we already done discussing the needs analysis, let's now move to our next lesson. Class, this morning, let us have an activity. You may use this link for your activity. Directions. Run to the correct answer zone whilst avoiding the enemies. I only give you 3 lives and 5 minutes to play the game. Are you ready to play the game? Alright, let's start. For today's lesson, we will be discussing about designing course materials based on needs analysis. What is course design? According to Hutchinson and Waters, course design is the process by which the raw data about a learning need is interpreted in order to produce an integrated series of teaching learning experience, whose ultimate aim is to lead the learners to a particular state of knowledge. This entails the use of the theoretical and empirical information available to produce a syllabus, to develop a methodology for teaching those materials, and to establish evaluation procedures by which progress towards the specified goals will be measured. The ESP syllabus. Accordingly, the English for Specific Purposes or ESP syllabus is intended to offer classes content that focus on developing the language skills needed for success on the job or in study, following the learner's needs. First, ESP course must be designed to meet the specific needs of the learners. Second, ESP is mainly related in content, themes, and topics to particular disciplines or occupations. Third, ESP uses authentic work-specific documents and materials. Fourth, ESP is intended to promote cultural awareness and seeks to improve intercultural competency. Fifth, ESP provides intermediate and advanced level language training. Factors affecting ESP course design. In relation to the factors affecting course design, Hutchinson and Waters use Kipling's Honest Serving Man to outline the basic questions that we need to know before designing course as follows. First, why does the students need to learn? Second, who is going to be involved in the process? This will need to cover not just the students but all the people who may affect on the process: teachers, sponsors, inspectors, and others. Third, where is the learning to take place? What potential does the place provide? What limitation does it impose? Fourth, when does the learning take place? How much time is available? How will it distributed? Fifth, what does the students need to learn? What aspect of language will be needed and how will they be described? What level of proficiency must be achieved? What topic areas will need to be covered? Sixth, the last one, how will the learning be achieved? What learning theory will underlie the course? What kind of methodology will be employed? Course design. There are probably many different approaches to ESP course design. As there are course designers, however, we can identify three main types of course design: language-centered course design, skill-centered course design, and learning-centered approach. First, language-centered course design. Hutchinson and Waters states that language-centered course design approaches the simplest kind of course design process and one most familiar to the English teachers. It aims to draw as direct a connection as possible between the analysis of the target situation and the content of the ESP course. It proceeds as follows. This figure shows that this approach starts at identifying learner's target situation and then select theoretical language to identify the linguistic features that the learners need based on the identified data syllabus created. The next step is designing material based on the syllabus, then establishing evaluation to see the successfulness of the course. Second, skill-centered course design. This approach aims at helping learners to develop skills and strategies which will continue after the ESP course. Its aim is not only to provide language knowledge but to make the learners into better processors of information. This figure shows that skill-centered approach starts at identifying target situation based on the data from the target situation analysis. It is determined theoretical views of language, skills required to cope target situation, and theoretical view of learning. Based on all data, the syllabus is created. Based on the syllabus, then material is developed and then conducting evaluation. Hutchinson and Waters 1987 state that the rule needs analysis in this approach is to help the ESP practitioners discover the potential knowledge and competence of the learner and their perspective of the target situation. Skill-centered model view language in terms of how the mind of the learner processes it rather the learners bring to the course rather than just one on the negative idea of lacks. Finally, it frames its objective in open-ended terms so enabling learners to achieve at least something, yet in spite of its concern for the learner, the skill-centered approach still approaches the learners as a user of language rather as a learner of a language. Third, a learning-centered approach. The term learning-centered approach, introduced by Hutchinson and Waters, it is seen as a process in which the learner uses what knowledge or skills they have to make sense of the flow of new information. It is an internal process which is crucially dependent upon the knowledge the learner already have and their ability and motivation to use it. It is a process of negotiation between individuals and the society. Society sets the target and the individual must do their best to get as close to that target as is possible. This approach has two implications. First, course design is a negotiated process. The ESP learning situation and the target situation will both influence the learner of the syllabus, materials, methodology, and evaluation procedures. Second, course design is a dynamic process. It does not move in a linear fashion. Needs and resources vary with time. The course design, therefore, needs to have built-in feedback channels to enable the course to respond to developments. If we took a learning-centered approach, we would need to ask further questions and consider other factors before determining the content and methodology of the course. What skills are necessary to be taught? What are the implications for methodology of having a monoskill focus? How will the students react to doing tasks involving other skills? Do the resources in the classroom allow the use of other skills? How will the learners react to discussing things in the mother tongue? How will the students' attitude vary through the course? Will they feel motivated? How do the students feel about reading as an activity? The important point is that this question must be asked and the results allowed to influence the course design. The learning-centered course design process is shown in this diagram. Once the learner's needs are clearly identified, the ASP course designer can move on to the following step, that is syllabus design. Monbai 1978 points out that syllabus specification in ESP can only take place after the prior necessary work has been done on needs. Course designers need to analyze the learning needs according to their motivation, the condition of the learning situation, and their existing knowledge and skills. Generally, the students study English not because they are interested in the English language or English culture as such, but because they need English for study or work purposes. That was according to Robinson 1991. According to Starkman 2006, consider that in ESP language is learned not for its own sake or for the sake of gaining a general education, but to smooth the path to entry or greater linguistic efficiency in academic, professional, or workplace environments. This denotes that the rule of professional or workplace environments This denotes that the role of the ESP is to help language learners to build up the needed abilities in order to use them in a specific field of inquiry, occupation, or workplace. Needs analysis are very important because if we fail to gather the needs of teachers, students, parents, and administrators, we can never produce the right material which has the desired impact on the language learners. Learners need the best curriculum, syllabus design, approach, and the best material. The material should value their engagement, linguistic needs, motivation, that matches their attitude, aptitude, learning styles, learning strategies, learning expectation, age, culture, and local needs. Even though many publishers emphasize that their materials are designed to satisfy learners' needs and teachers' needs and interests, we must require more professional, more valid, more reliable needs analysis for better material responding to the needs of each parties. The claims to satisfy learners' needs deserve criticism if they are based solely or largely on the questionnaire given to teachers asking if the course book has satisfied their learning needs and interests. The survey has only measured teachers' perception of learners' needs, which do not necessarily represent the actual learner needs. This was according to Mashora 1994. Why we need to conduct needs analysis? What is the importance of needs analysis in designing materials? Now, let us have another activity that measures your understanding. Use this link to answer the activity. An image is revealed slowly Buzz in when you can answer the question. For your assignment, use this link. Discuss the importance of designing course materials and the needs analysis.